Welcome back. The mainland has recorded the highest number of imported COVID cases in 2 years, with most of the infections coming from Hong Kong. The authorities yesterday registered 142 imported cases, of which 2/3, or 105, originated in the SAR. Neighboring Shenzhen had 47 Hong Kong imported cases, Shanghai 51, and the capital Beijing 7. There were also 82 locally transmitted cases across the mainland yesterday. Inner Mongolia and Liaoning accounted for the lion's share of the total. Hong Kong's newest mobile cabin hospital for COVID patients is expected to open within days. It will be part of a series of community isolation and treatment facilities that will be able to accommodate 50,000 people. Macy Mock reports.
Hundreds of container homes have sprouted on a plot of land in Tsingyi. The site at the junction of Tsingyi Road and Tsingyi Hong Wen Road will house one of the mobile cabin hospitals for COVID patients. Work began last Tuesday and is expected to take a week to complete. 2 additional sites have been identified for community isolation and treatment facilities. One is a plot of private land provided by New World Development in Funland North New Development Area, and the other is adjacent to the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. The Architectural Services Department has signed a cooperation agreement with China State Construction International Holdings to build 8 community isolation and treatment facilities. The 8 sites and another next to Lok Ma Chau Loop are expected to have room for 50,000 beds. Secretary for Development Michael Wong, who is overseeing the construction work, said the sites chosen can be used almost immediately. He said any problems with water, electricity, or sewage can be dealt with in a short period. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
A block in Sao Mau Ping Estate is under an overnight lockdown after the virus was found in sewage. Residents of Sao Wai House will have to stay home and undergo compulsory testing. The authorities hope to finish the operation in the Kwun Tong public housing block at around 1 p.m. tomorrow. It is suspected that some people in the building may have contracted COVID, but are asymptomatic. In other news, China's Foreign Ministry office in the city has condemned Britain for extending its BNO scheme to benefit more Hong Kongers. A spokesman reiterated that the scheme interferes with China's internal affairs and violates international law. Britain yesterday announced that those born in or after 1997 can apply for a visa that will allow them to eventually settle in the country. But they must have at least one parent who already holds BNO status. The change would extend the immigration scheme to people as young as 25 years old. Since the program was introduced last year, about 104,000 Hong Kongers have applied, with around 97,000 winning approval. 3 former policemen in the U.S. city of Minneapolis have been found guilty of violating the civil rights of George Floyd, a black man who died after another officer knelt on his knee for 9 minutes.
This is a reminder that all sworn law enforcement officers, regardless of rank or seniority, individually and independently, have a duty to intervene and provide medical aid to those in their custody. It's a fundamental duty of policing. Officers Tao, King, and Lane on that day failed to fulfill this duty, and as a result, George Floyd senselessly died.
Even though we just had a federal conviction and we already had the state conviction, but times, will be probably a lot harder for me still because I can't get my brother back.
The trio were accused of failing to intervene when their colleague Derek Chauvin pinned Floyd to the ground with his knee. Floyd's death 2 years ago sparked massive protests across the country as Americans went through a social awakening on racism. Chauvin was convicted last year and sentenced to over 2 decades behind bars. Hong Kong shares slipped today with the Hang Seng Index losing 0.6%. Investors remained nervous as the Russian assault on Ukraine intensified. The growing number of COVID cases in Hong Kong also worried the market. HSBC fell 2.5%, leading a slide in the financial sector, on concerns that sanctions against Russia could hurt banks. Analysts said developments in Ukraine over the weekend will influence trading when the market reopens on Monday. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed down 134 points today. Top 10 active stocks: Tencent down $3.80, Alibaba up 40 cents. Hong Kong exchanges down $4.60, AIA down 30 cents, and Wuxi Biologics up $2.45. Forwards trading against Hong Kong dollar, Euro is trading at 8.75, Canadian dollar at 6.10. Over to the UK market, FTSE 100 is up 180 points. Americans have been complaining about having to pay more for almost everything, with inflation at a 4-decade high. Many are worried because medicines have become too expensive for them.
We are getting stiff because we have no control over what the drug companies say. And when you look at their budgets, they're not spending most of it on research. It's marketing and advertising. The US has almost a religious commitment to the free market. And decade after decade, people say, well, if there's just competition, and if we just let the invisible hand of the market, it will drive down prices. It hasn't done that for 40 years.
Americans pay up to 3 times what people in other developed countries fork out for the same medication. Because of the high prices, about 1/3 of U.S. citizens skip doses of essential medicines they need, while another 25% simply cannot afford them. Health experts say attempts to lower prices will fail because pharmaceutical giants put profits first. On to the weather now. Tomorrow will be cool in the morning while fine and dry during the day. Temperatures range between 15 and 21 degrees. Fine on Sunday with some rain on Monday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Friday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Sarah Wong. Thanks for watching. Please stay safe and take care.